what are things that I need? I need more burners. Figured, well, while we're at the mall, may as well do the things that you do at the mall, which means go shopping. We need to do some shopping at the mall. Grab some more power poles. I need rail. Yeah, I need rail. Need lots of rail. Oh, and you may notice the Logibots are going out to the train station now to pick stuff up. I have a... This is where all of my lead is coming from to feed them all now. I have cut the supply from the starter lead. So the starting area lead, this is no longer being utilized by the mall. So, huzzah. That's been done. I don't think I'm relying on the... Yeah, so there's no more copper here, there's no more iron here. I still need to do a titanium setup, but otherwise I think I can just delete this. And I could actually just reverse the belt for lead, for where I need the lead on the bus. If I need the lead on the bus, do I need the lead on the bus? I think the only thing I need the lead for on the bus is the solder. Maybe. Is the lead actually used for anything outside of solder? Let's briefly destroy the bitrate for a bit as I go down this line and see that no, it's only used for solder on the whole of the bus. So that's nice to see. I've gotten rid of the tin already. I can get rid of the borax. In fact, I can not only get rid of this borax, I can also get rid of this borax as well, because I'm not using any of it from here. Yeah, I'm using neither of these now. All of my borax comes from this reserve at this point. So I could do that, and I could rearrange the bus a bit for that. Holy crap, I actually mined out some of that. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I can't believe I actually have mining drills that have fully mined some of this starting coal. I want to delete this, and the coal and the stone, actually, because I don't need it, and I think I can't delete the chromium yet. I need to set up... Yeah, so I need to set up chromium, I need to put tin on to my trains, and I still need to set up aluminium as well. Those are three things that I can and probably will do off screen going into the weekend. Or at some point. It really does depend when Pyanodon releases Pi Alien Life. Wink wink nudge nudge. Because once that's out, this series will be going on a bit of a hiatus until I finish the Morrowind playthrough, at the very least. I need this. Yes, this. That's why the car's here. Oh, hey, my phone is telling me it's time to take a break. I sort of already took a break. Thank you, phone, for telling me all about taking a break. Grab things. Get... Stuff. stuff, things, go. What will come after Alien Life? Yes, rest. Rest for Pyanodon. What will come is a playthrough of Alien Life. I will be beginning a playthrough of Alien Life as soon as I get access to it. Which is going to be quote-unquote soon-ish. Sooner than later. And once I get access to it, this series will go on hiatus because I'm... With as much as I've revealed of this map, even if they do have a proper migration script and are able to provide a RSO config for the new resources that get added, the only way I'm going to be getting the new resources that Alien Life adds on this particular map would be by exploring even further out than what I already have. So that would be why it's more prudent to start a fresh map for Alien Life once it does release. And besides, Alien Life is completely changing, at the very least, red and green science. I don't know what changes may or may not have been made outside of those two particular sciences. Military wasn't touched, I think I remember seeing. What is with this flight time? Here, give me a stack. Give me a stack of that Nexlet. That would be great. Because flight time is a thing, and that needs to keep moving. Okay, so I've got some rails. Do I need any, like, signals or anything like that? I'm actually going to transfer some stuff here. Give me signals and all that. I can get rid of... No, not those. I can clear some of this stuff out. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Am I missing anything important outside of more rail signals? I think I'm gonna get more rail signals. New resources required for green science. Yeah, I figured as much. So yeah, what I don't know is if there's been changes to blue science, or yellow, or purple, but I do know that red and green, at the very least, have been updated. Red in particular, it has been completely overhauled versus what it is now. And it's going to be fun because it's going to take us 20 hours before we even begin even remotely automating red science. That's going to be very pleasant, I'm sure. The 20 plus hours to get any amounts of automated red science. Especially when there's not really going to be too much access to splitters or anything like that in the early game. Yes, red is more difficult. Red is more complex, more difficult, requires a lot more buildings. The main issue being in the early game is that you're going to have to go through this new, more complex process to get the red science while not having access to splitters and undergrounds. So yeah, it'll require doing a very, very, very spaghetti setup, and then basically just tearing it down and restarting once you do get your access to splitters and undergrounds. Okay, sulfur. There's several sulfur patches around the map. There's sulfur here. There's sulfur here. Let's see. Any, like, what's the largest? Where's my largest sulfur patch? There's, 6 sulfur there. There's not actually a lot there. Less than a billion. Less than a billion. We need more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 in this batch. I think that might be the winner. There's 7 here. 7 there. With more. So it's denser. But it's further away. And where I want my cermets. Lots of sulfur, lots of, ooh, hello, I didn't know that you existed. I have been blind to you. What? Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 90 per second. 90 per second of salt here. Each salt mine is 10. Each salt mine is 10 per second without modules. My primary salt mine is here. This is 8. This is 80 per second, and it's actually limited because it's only 75 on the output into the trains. So really, this is just 75. That other one is 90. So that would be 6 yellow belts. That would be 6 yellow belts. I think 6. Actually, no. What am I thinking? This isn't limited to 75. This is limited to 60. Yeah, it's 60. Yeah, that's what it's been limited to. Rather than 80, it has a 5th line here, but it's like, how am I gonna do 5 into 4 easily? Well, you don't. You just do the 60, and then if you need more, then you add more. But anyway, so I think I decided here, this salt patch, because it's actually really close. I can just extend the line a little bit, and then I'll have my glorious sulfur. And the station doesn't need to be that huge either. I guess the only other thing I might need is lamps, actually. Yes, lots of salt. Very, very salty on this map. Have I mentioned how great RSO is? It has provided. It has provided. And remember that the whole point of RSO is to make maps that are more conducive to using trains. Like, that was the inherent point of Resource Spawner Overhaul, was to help people make better maps for trains. Like, oh hey, we've got literally everything in reasonable distances. Then again, reasonable differences. This is like over a radius of 3,000 tiles. It's like, oh, joy. Or 3,000 chunks or whatever. Radius. You need to die. Thank you for dying. Stupid rock. Auto-saving! By the way, the vehicle acceleration and the top speed is really nice from solid fuel. Just to throw that concept out there. Yes, I have snuck some solid fuel production. I pointed out that last time. I was sneaky. Snuck in some solid fuel. And stacked it. Because the stacked solid fuel is the equivalent of 5 standard solid fuel, although it the stack size is 5 times lower. as well. Which, yeah, is a point that I should make. The stack sizes are 5 times smaller, which means that the... How can I word this correctly? Which means that when you put them into chests, right? When you put the stacks of stacked items into chests, the total amount of the resources is identical, whether it's stacked or not stacked. The total number of base resource stays the same when it's put into a chest, but the actual number, the actual physical amount of stacked stuff is 5 times less. What that means is that it's easier to transport with the belts, which is dependent upon the sheer volume, the sheer numbers of items that move, rather than the total that the chests can hold. So basically what I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily matter that I am shoving train cars full of stacked stuff, because the point is not that it allows me to hold more items in a train car, because it holds exactly the same amount when loading trains with stacked items. No, what it allows for is easier movement with belts to and from the train stations. That's what it's primarily for. Is it makes it easier moving resources to and from the trains, rather than just the amount that the trains carry themselves. So we're here. We have arrived at our sulfur patch. I will need to remember that I need to have fuel in. I think it's fuel in, if I am remembering correctly. Yes, it is any random fuel. Any fuel in. And 1.5 out. Interesting. Silver mines do not have mark levels, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, sulfur does not have mark levels on the sulfur mines, which is a little bit of a shame considering they only have 1 module slot. Hint, hint. Pyanodon. Hey, it's a little bit of a shame that there's only 1 module slot on this machine that only has the 1 level of it. It doesn't have any more than this, just 1 level. How many is this? 9? 8. Also, good question would be, how much does this output per cycle? Because sometimes things lie, and there's no good... There's like no indication of how much stuff is produced a cycle on some of these things. You know, like with borax, which totally outputs... What is it? 3 units of ore per cycle. It's like, oh gee, that's fantastic that it outputs 3 ore per cycle, but also a little bit problematic in the grand scheme of things. There we go. It's a little bit problematic in the grand scheme because wait. That's not needed. That's not necessary. I probably still want to do that, though. I can output this on the same lane, because it's 4 and 4, and that'll be even. What was I saying? It's gone. My thought's gone completely. Thought is gone. That whole idea, like, train, the train of thought, it's gone. It's dead. All right, stacking of like the several items thing for the borax. Yeah, it tells you nowhere. Nowhere does it state that the crystal mines will give you more than 1 unit of ore on the output, and yet that's exactly what happens. So we also need the fuel. How much fuel? 500 kilowatts per cycle. Anyway, it's an amount. An amount. Sure. Da 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 da. Actually, down we go. Actually, I changed my mind. Come on, fingers. Do the thing. That. Hmm. Ta-da! That, as they say. Is that. Just add the power. It's a little bit of a shame that that these things run on fuel, and yet you still have to provide power for inserters. You could, of course, just use burner inserters, but I'm not going to bother with that. Why would I bother with that? So, stations. So that's the other thing. We need stations. This is also only 12.5. Bear that in mind. Bear that one in mind. This is only 12.5 units of sulfur per second. I will need a little bit more than that going forward. I need 14.7. 14.7. We've got 8 mines here for 12. Is there another one, another patch nearby? Well, here. So this is going to be one of those circumstances where I think it will be better to set up a yard separately, fully separately from the stations. Yeah. I think so, and this may be the first time we have multiple inputs, multiple input stations going into a yard. Huzzah. This does mean, however, that each train is going to be limited to 12.5 units per second of throughput, which sucks a little bit, but we'll make do. We shall endure. We need to have a coke train in. and a sulfur train out. That is all we need, actually. So, coke in. With a requester station. Where is my car? Vehicle! I need you! Because I'm assuming that you have my requester station in you. All the way up here. Hi, could you give me a requester station as well as some unloaders and some loaders, as well as locomotives and cargo wagons. Yeah, those are the things that I need to do this. Okay, if I put down my station, this will be my requester station. One, two, three, 6. I want a signal for safety right there. And I want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to make sure that there's that one train length, at least, before I head out. And since I'm going to be using this more than once, this will be, you know, blueprinted. Ideally. Hello, Cole. Making me have to pick this coal up myself. Who do you think I am? Okay, next thing is replacing this stuff. With... Come on, I know I have this blueprint. There. That's the one. That just gives me spacing. And then... Where are you? Where is it? Come on. There it is. That's the one. This will be my Sulfur 1 Coke request. That will work fine, ideally. This is all just going to go into one. I don't think I'll need more than just this one. So, in all actuality, I don't need these. And then what I'll do is I will be checking how much stuff is in here versus how much stuff is in the train. Doop, doop. Doop, doop. And I suppose I should also wire up what's in the unloader. Because these will both be the same signal until I do this. Why do I always have to do this not in power? There we go. That, as they say, is that. Next. Number next. Head on down here so we can get our next station. I'll do this right here. There we go. Signals. Glorious signals. Chain, chain, standard. Yep. Then it's a standard train stop. This will, of course, be sulfur supply 1. This needs to be yellow. It needs to be yellow, just like this needs to be black. For coke, it must be yellow for sulfur. Glorious yellow. And, of course, I will also need the loaders for this. Give me loader. This will change the station if I do this. Oh well. Back to yellow. That is not the correct side for you to exist. Okay. Connect these up for power. Suppose I can just put the train down now. Where are my cargo wagons? Wagons! Wherefore art thou? There. Doink, 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 and doink. Pretty sure that that's all correct and should function properly. And it's just a matter of getting this brought over. Stacking will not be necessary for this particular thing. However, it will be somewhat ideal if I were to put it into a warehouse first. I will note that the way that the unloaders, like the way that the loaders work, if there's not enough throughput in, it will not evenly distribute the output from a single warehouse across the loaders that are unloading from the warehouse. It will split between 2 versus all 4 sometimes if there's not enough stuff coming in to output to all 4 evenly. I don't know exactly why that happens, because realistically speaking, it should be splitting into all 4 on its output, but I guess when it's only getting like 1 item in and it has to choose which of the 4 to send that 1 item to at any given tick, it can only assign it to 1, and it prefers, I think it reads clockwise in its priority, so it'll output to 1, and then it'll output to the other, and then to here, and then to here. I think that's how it works. It works from probably top left clockwise in terms of how it is prioritizing. But I do know it does prioritize like that, and it will only actually evenly distribute the output if you have a sufficient quantity coming in throughput. But yeah, I think that will work. All I need to do is set this value and this value at this point, outside of actually connecting the thing up. to the network. So the Coke trains hold 4,000, so I guess I don't actually have to touch this. It is 4,000. I want a total of 2 train loads. I just need to tell it to pull from the Coke trains. But first, I will need to actually get us connected to the network. Or to the main line.